After 5 years of no contact with my 23 male family members, one searched me up and saw that I had gotten married and had a 1-year-old son. They have threatened to sue me for visitation rights, which they're able to do in my state. I moved out on midnight of my 18th birthday and left a note that I'm going to be better off without them and that I'm legally an adult now, so they can't report me missing and force me to move back with them. My life has been so much better since then. I got married and had a child with the love of my life, and things have been peaceful until I get a couple of emails. The too long didn't read version of the emails is basically one family member decided to search me up and ended up finding me because my name isn't exactly common. They saw the life that I was able to build for myself in terms of marrying the woman of my dreams and building a very good financial status. What seemed to be the biggest sore point was the fact that I had a 1-year-old kid and didn't tell anybody. I'm guessing they don't know what no contact means. They said that they were going to be suing me for visitation rights. Where I'm at, grandparent or sibling is able to sue for visitation rights of their niece or nephew or grandchild. I haven't replied to any of these emails yet, but I don't know what to do. What legal rights do I have to keep myself and my child from being exposed to my family? And how do I go about stressing the point that I went no contact with a reason? Information. When I'm abused and beaten to the point that I have to run away from home at the age of 15 in nothing but a tank top and underwear. But I'm then forced to come back home because of a shitty law system and was even more abused, having to take the torment for 3 more years because the law is forcing me to stay home, and my only contact with them after 5 years is them threatening to sue me because I won't let them see my baby, or they are mad because they no longer have me to feed their control fetish. Then yes, they are real pieces of work. I could literally get an email or text message saying me that they both died in some horrific car accident and I would not care. They are not my parents. He is the guy that squirted me out of him, and she's the woman that shot me out of her. If anything, my wife's parents are my parents. I lucked out and was able to move in with my girlfriend at her parents'. But there was a period where I felt like a burden, so I lived in my car and is pretty much homeless. I know that there are a lot of people who feel like they have to resort to running away from home and escape the abuse of narcissistic parents. So I want to be an older brother of sorts for people. My siblings are okay, not bad people. It just stings to me that they are my older siblings that did nothing to stop the abuse. Update. I first want to thank everyone who messaged me privately. Literally every person who messaged me was helpful and so nice. To all of you guys, I sincerely thank you. Update. Some people were messaging me and some people commented telling me that I need to move to the States. Unfortunately, I've built a life and career out here and that is simply not possible. I own property here as well. As for those people, I didn't contact them. My lawyer contacted them. I'm again not going into detail, but they haven't emailed me or contacted me since. I got a new phone number, house number, and so did my wife. Just to be on the safe side, I also have a new email, which I have been meaning to change anyways. I deleted some of my social media and only kept the stuff that has to deal with my band. My Instagram has been privated and I deleted a lot of people just to be on the safe side. So yeah, that's it. Sorry it's not the eventful action-packed update some of you wanted. And at the end of the day, I'm still not contacting them and hopefully they won't try to do anything dumb. I'm basically pretending I never got that email and my life is the same as it was before. Thanks dudes. Edit. GPR stands for Grandparents' Rights. It gives grandparents the ability to sue someone for visitation rights to their child. You did the right thing, OP. Your parents sound like horrible parents and I have no doubt they would be terrible grandparents. They were abusive towards you to the point where you would rather be homeless than stay with them and they think you would let them be in your kid's life? After all these years, the first contact they're having with you is a threat. That proves that they've not changed one bit and you have every reason to get them as far away from you and your family as possible. Protect your kid and family as well as you can. Your parents are bad news and you don't need them in your life. Now for some comments. They were abusive to you. Who's to say they won't be to your kid? If I had kids and my parents had been abusive to me, I would do everything in my power. I can get very extreme and go to great lengths to avoid certain situations if my mental or physical health is at risk. I've slept in an abandoned car too, just to get away from an ex. To not allow them visitation rights based on the fact alone, and that I would be constantly worried for my kid's safety, mentally and physically. I understand you've settled down now, but that situation sounds like a lot of trouble, or is going to be. Yeah, your troubled parents have obviously hurt you enough to cut them off. Now, without any kind of mending or compassion, they reach out with a threat. Their first contact in 5 years is a threat to sue. That is their move, and it is revealing of deeply immature people. What court would permit these vultures, who've already pecked at you for 2 decades, a second meal? It is in the best interest of the baby and the father to remain distant from the grandparents. It sounds like things are happy for you now. The fact that they couldn't appreciate that or extend an apology or something human is so sad. The only benefit of poorly evolved people is the example they set. They teach us not to be like them. Almost all states have grandparents' rights laws, but the laws are meant to safeguard what's in the best interest of the child when parents divorce or die. So say my mother-in-law visits my son every week. I don't like her, but I put up with it for my husband. Then my husband dies. If I refuse to allow my mother-in-law to not see my son anymore, just because she is annoying as F to me, in almost all states, she could sue for visitation. That is just an example, of course, but generally every state that has these laws on the books. A minimum of 2 facts have to be proven. 1, the parents of the child must not have an intact relationship. And 2, grandparents must have an already established relationship with the child or children. Some states specify what constitutes a prior meaningful relationship. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize for what I did with the wedding cake 20 years ago? So this came up at a recent family gathering and I'm curious about the prevailing opinion. So my sister-in-law does not like me. She's never liked me and she made things hell from the time my husband proposed. She has 3 main reasons for disliking me. I embarrass a brother. Well, if that was true, that needs to come from him. I'm not good enough for her family, and he cheated on his fiancée with me. She has the timeline all warped, and we are both still friends with the ex-fiancé. She was actually at the wedding. She spread a lot of rumors while we were planning the wedding and tried to poison my relationship with my mother-in-law. Post-wedding, she's accusing me of cheating, claims our son doesn't look like my husband, and she used to drive by while my husband was at work to look for strange cars. The only reason she wasn't cut off was because it would have hurt her mother, who recently passed away, and all of this drama resurfaced. My sister-in-law was upset that I received a family heirloom in the will. It wasn't given to my husband to give to me, but my mother-in-law mentioned me directly by name. We had our first family dinner since her passing, and my other sister-in-law married into the family, not their sibling if that matters. Tried to heal things between the 2 of us. I was willing to be forgiving because I know she was hurt by the will. When my husband and I married and I realized this is horribly immature, he fed me the cake very sweetly and then his friends were cheering for me to smash it. Well, he didn't do anything to deserve that, so I turned around and smeared some on the sister. I still maintain it was a little funny, but yes, ridiculous and immature. I asked if she was going to apologize for everything she's done and said over the years, and she said I can't turn it around when she asked first. We left shortly after and my husband is adamant that I do not apologize. If she had wanted to pull up all of the past behind us, I might have agreed, but I would much rather have some cake smeared on me than be known as the town hoe because of some lie. So am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize? Everyone sucks here. OP, you for smearing cake on your sister-in-law's face and her for spreading rumors about you. But what kind of relationship do you want with your sister-in-law and rest of the family? Personally, I think it's a bit weird to pull your husband's sister into what should have been an intimate or funny moment between you and your husband. But it seems like this was played for laughs and retribution for her unsavory comments. You have acknowledged it was immature. An apology earlier may have eased your relationship with your sister-in-law and limited her continued slander. Now for some comments. Honestly, OP, everyone sucks. For your attitude alone, I can tell how skewed and one-sided this is. And even with you trying to paint yourself in the best light, you and your sister-in-law are both catty and terrible. As the saying goes, never wrestle with the pig. You both get dirty and the pig likes it. And you two are both a mess right now. You're the a-hole. No, I'm not going to evaluate your decades-long relationship with your sister-in-law and determine who is the bigger a-hole. That is not what this sub is for. The question is, are you an a-hole for not apologizing? You are. Because smearing cake on someone out of spite when they aren't expecting it and are at a formal event where pictures will be taken is an a-hole move. Also, this was 20 years ago, which means you're at least in your 40s. Grow the F up. I'm not going to vote that you're the a-hole because I don't think your crime here is a huge one. But if you want a better relationship with your sister-in-law, it's gotta start somewhere. It's such a small thing. It's worth apologizing for. Even if I adored my brother's wife, I would be pissed if she smeared cake on my face. It probably took her half an hour or more to fix her makeup after that stunt, meaning she missed part of her own brother's wedding. How she treated you is a separate issue entirely. She's definitely the a-hole for that, but two wrongs don't make a right. Be the bigger person and apologize. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter, 26 female, that I, 55 male, will not walk down the aisle with a stepdad, 50 male? My wife and I divorced when my daughter was 6 years old, and my wife has custody of my daughter for the most part since I was too busy working 50 hours a week. She quickly moved on to be with another man 7 years younger than her. I knew from many stories I've heard that my daughter would probably end up being closer to him than me, since not only was our time together very limited, but he was a stay-at-home dad, which means they had plenty of time to bond together, which makes me feel sick to this day. This may sound immature, but I made her promise to never ever call her stepdad Dad, that I was her only father and to not betray me, but I have no control over what she or they do in their home. Fast forward to now, my prediction came through and she's obviously closer to her stepdad than me. She got engaged about a year ago, and now that the wedding is approaching, 1 month or so, she's now out of the blue and told me that she wants both me and my stepdad to walk her down the aisle, after promising me I would be the one to do it. Even though I know they're very close, I don't believe he has any right to walk my blood daughter down the aisle. I am her only father. It isn't fair that he got to be with my daughter more than me, her biological dad, and now he wants to take this moment from me too. I got a bit angry and told her I absolutely will not share an honor that is meant for me, the actual father of the bride, with some guy I barely know. She told me he's done a lot for her growing up, and that I'm being petty over something that happened years ago. I told her I wasn't going to argue about it, and if she wants her stepdad to walk her, she can, but I won't be there to see it. I was told by a friend of mine who uses this site quite often that many people have gone through something similar to this with their kids or parents, so I wanted to see other people's perspective on if it's wrong for me to want to be the only one to walk my daughter down the aisle. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. Stop being so petty. Your daughter was fortunate enough to have a stepfather that was active in her life. He is an addition, not a replacement. She wants to acknowledge both of you. If you want to stomp your feet and have a temper tantrum, you will more than likely be given a seat to watch her walk down the aisle with him. If you want to be a part of her life, your actions should reflect that. Grow up. You're the a-hole. My own dad did this selfish shit to me, and our relationship has never been the same. You made your daughter promise to be loyal to you? What kind of sick shit is that to put on your child? Since becoming a parent myself and a divorced one who has secondary custody, I love anyone who loves my child. How blessed your daughter would have been to have two amazing fathers by her side. but you're too effing wrapped in your own goddamn ego for her to have that. You're the a-hole. I'm in the same position as your daughter. This is your chance to show her that you can be mature, not saying you're not, and suck up walking her down with a stepdad. He and you are both her fathers, you by blood and him by marriage. He chose to be her father. He didn't have to take a full father role on. He could have done the bare minimum, but he chose to step up and be a father to her. You both have a right to walk her down, and she will be so happy that you two are getting along on her wedding day.